Meowdy and salutations. It is I, small but fierce, the Mazoku of madness, the purveyor of posteriors, the connoisseur of cake, the patron of pororesuri. It is I, Suridesu. Yes, who would have guessed, right? I'm back with this lovely podcast episode that I felt was long overdue, but now that I am at the time of this upload back in Nashville, Tennessee, wow, I figured that it was a good time, if any, to go ahead and kind of give a breakdown of how things were for me, as well as how things are looking to be for me. Now, this won't be my last episode as far as for this year for the podcast. I do have one that I'm going to be working on in the next few weeks. That'll be I guess you could say, the retrospective of 2024 for me. But yeah, why don't we just go ahead and hop up into this? One of the biggest things that I definitely wanted to touch on is just the time that I spent while in Arizona. I flew out to Arizona back in the early part of September, and I was there, and I've been there for all the way up until the first week of December. So 3 months, not too shabby, I would say. One of the biggest things that I can take away from my time in Arizona was just reviewing the experiences that I had when I was back in Maryland and even when I was in Philadelphia for a little bit. Just having community makes all the difference. And granted, I said be more or Maryland and Philly. Like that can even go back to when I was staying in Nashville. Now, Nashville, I think I was kind of at the end of my rope with Nashville, but there were people in my corner that were helping me kind of find that community. But I think at that point, I was already kind of at my wits' end with Tennessee as a whole. And I decided, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and do as I typically do every now and then, and that's go to another state and see what I can, I guess, achieve or figure out. Because I'm very much a wandering spirit, and I'm very much the type of person that I will sit somewhere for a few years, and then I'll be like, okay, let me go ahead and get a change of scenery, see if I can freshen things up, just to kind of keep me in the game, right? I came to Arizona with that same mindset. I did a bit of research. I have a friend out here that was letting me stay with them for a little bit. And honestly, that wasn't enough, unfortunately. Now, I realize that I always run the gamble of that sort of situation that I had. It's not my friend's fault. It's more so me just taking a gamble, and it just didn't work. That's how I can boil it down to. But to get more specific, the time spent in Arizona, it was very much, it felt like a necessary learning experience for me. Because I was only able to stay with my friend for about a month. And if you do the math, I've been there since September, and I'm only just now getting back. So for the rest of the time there, I was dealing with being in a shelter. And I went ahead and I touched on that in a few of my previous posts, either on Instagram or on my blog here or what have you. And it sucked. Not my first time ever dealing with being homeless. I dealt with that when I was actually back in Tennessee. I was living with a few people in a house, and we were all renting it. And they ended up just saying, hey, that's nice that you guys don't mind paying extra and renewing the lease. We're just going to go ahead and sell it to somebody. So you guys got to get the hell out. And yeah, I ended up being homeless in that situation. Not fun. Not fun at all. I digress, though. The time spent in Arizona, it was a little good, a lot of bad, and in some cases ugly. And what I mean by that is just the culture that can be found in certain pockets of Arizona. This is very much a swing state, and it lived up to every bit of that. Some parts of where I was staying, I would find a little bit more of a progressive kind of vibe. Like if I went to Tempe, I would find more of a traditional big city vibe. I mean, it's south of Phoenix, so you could kind of say that they kind of pick up from that. But it's also a college town. They have Arizona State University there. I say that the time that I spent uh, there was a lot more enjoyable than where I was staying, which is Mesa. And then certain parts of like Chandler. Chandler was okay. Chandler is much more south of those two cities. And I feel like I got a lot more of a uh, open ended experience. Of course, I still dealt with a lot of conservatives, as you're going to in just about any place. It is what it is, but just really having to witness a lot of ignorance, right? You get a lot of people like this. This is like pre election at the time, and like now it's I haven't really noticed that, and I think that's kind of funny. It's like, oh, everybody's kind of piped down now that they got what they wanted, right? And I think they realized that some of the shit that they were hoping for might not come to fruition, and I think that's fantastic because it's kind of you get what you get, right? You get what you deserve. I digress, though. A lot of the good that I experienced in Arizona, aside from just how beautiful certain parts of Arizona were, I got to see a lot of cool parks. I got to experience a lot of the kind of reserve areas because they do have a lot of reserves and whatnot. And just hopping on their light rail or hopping on a bus and just getting to kind of tour around and see various parts and just kind of take in what type of culture I'm dealing with. I did end up having a chance to reach some really good people. I would say that was kind of the big hit for me was being able to at least find some people. Um, it took a good minute. Unfortunately, I wasn't really successful in finding like a lot of queer people. It took me literally to the very very end, and it's a little disappointing. But that is I would say for me that is not necessarily a bad thing. I think it was just me being a little impatient because I was like, this was before I made the decision that I was going to come back to Nashville, right? And I was doing everything in my power to see the potential of relocating and sitting myself in Arizona for longer than a few months. But it was very hard. Like, when I talked about forming community and having community, especially now, it is imperative. I feel like, in my honest opinion, it is imperative. Anywhere you go, having connections, having people that you can confide in, or at least try and build something with, you can't not have that. So I honestly feel that that is part of the learning experience that I gained from being in Arizona was just build your network of people that if you decide that you're going to go there, at least you know you have people that you can connect with, not even in the sense of, hey, can I crash at your place? Hey, can I live with you? Hey, can I get money? Hey, blah, 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 woo. Just, hey, I'm going to be here. Can you help me in the sense of giving me the inside scoop on this is where you can these are some good places, these are some safe spaces, these are places that honestly you don't need to have any sort of business being in or around or perceiving, that type of stuff, right? And for me, like the biggest thing, especially going forward, is just having that queer connection. Like I kind of made that very generalized, but what I'm really wanting to allude to is having that queer connection. That is something that it felt very out of place for me. Like it felt very out of place. And it's like I heard about, hey, Phoenix is pretty popping for like being queers. Cause it's like me, before I came to Arizona, that was one of the biggest things that I was trying to like really get down and dirty on. It's like, okay, what is the community here? Where am I likely to find a lot of these guys? Where would be some of the better cities to try and connect in that aspect? And Mesa is it's east. It's like southeast of Phoenix, and then there's Tempe, and then Phoenix is like the main one, and then Tucson, which is like south Arizona. It's going to be a lot closer to the border. But all you need to know is like it's about 100 miles away from where I was at, so that wasn't going to happen anytime soon without a car. So it it left me in this very weird floating state because I was just sure I can try and talk with regular people, but that's not going to get me anywhere. Like, I may come across somebody that is giving queer vibes, but I'm not going to try and assume or perceive them as such. And I didn't come across any trans or gender diverse people until literally the other week, like me getting ready to leave working at Wally, which I'm about to get into momentarily. And in a way, it's kind of funny. I kind of thank Wally for working at Wally World for that opportunity, especially considering that they just went through the whole thing like, oh, we're gonna roll back our DEI and all that other stuff, and now they're like, oh, I think we made a big mistake. Like, whatever, dude. I digress. Being able to I'll just tie it all together. It'll kind of be like its own little like flowing segue. So working at Walmart, it was whatever for me. It was me being able to make money so I can move forward and progress towards something, and I accomplished that. Would I have liked to make more money? Of course. Are you kidding me? Because then it's like I can do a lot more. I can work towards what I want, what I'm trying to work towards right now. And yeah, but I knew I was not going to stay there forever. And it's just, yeah, it's retail. But then it's also dealing with people that still don't know how to find that balance when it comes to being in a higher position in a retail environment and treating people a certain way. And then it's like you expect people to just be like, hey, okay, bud, whatever, you got it, boss. And not like, bro, look, I'm doing my best here and I need you to help me. And I'm not getting that help. And it's not gonna work. The vibes are not there, man. I'm not gonna put up with it. And me, I worked with the company 6 years back. This is when I was staying in Utah and I was doing trade school stuff and whatnot. And that was just kind of an ends to the means. Hey, I'm going to pay my bills, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. I ended up leaving that job because I was dealing with a very disrespectful manager. And I was just like, and it got to the point where we were working an overnight shift, and homie was trying to tell me that I was dicking around. Because whenever they did break, they did this weird thing where it's like, okay, group break overnight. We're gonna go out into the parking lot. We're gonna just chill. You can get your smoke. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. Okay, everybody back in. We're getting back to work. And I did that one night, and I came back, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom before I get started because I knew like it wasn't going to set me back if I take like a couple minutes to go and use the bathroom. So I did that. I got out the bathroom and he was sitting right there, just like, well, where the hell have you been? Like, I didn't see you come back in. You're over here. You're just hiding in the bathroom. Like, you can't be doing this, man. Like, I'm going to have to go ahead and hit you with a disciplinary. I'm like, whoa, hold on. I came in when everybody came in. He's like, no, 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 I didn't see you. I was like, you know what's a simple fix for all this? We can check the cameras. We can check the cameras. You'll see that I come in. You'll see that I'm going straight to the bathroom and I'm just getting out now. And if you don't want to do that, then I feel like I don't need to be working this shift right now. He's like, look, man, I don't got time for that. We're not going to do that. I just need you to get back to work. We'll talk about this later. I was like, no, I'm not getting back to work. I'm going to go ahead, clock out and go home because I'm not putting up with this bullshit. Told him straight like that. I clocked out. I said, deuces. I'll see you when I see you. And we went on from that. And then it's like, I go ahead, I worked there for about another week or so. And I was like, you know what? After that experience, like, he didn't talk to me. He didn't go and talk to me or anything. But it's like, The other people there like, hey, yeah, sorry that you had to go through that. He's a bit of a dickhead, blase blase, woody woody woo. He's going through some stuff. It's like, hey, that's fine. If he's going through some stuff, he's going through some stuff. But I'm not gonna let him disrespect me and just do all that bullshit. So I don't like. Yeah, was I wrong to go ahead and respond that way? In some cases, maybe, but I don't care. And it's like, with that, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to put in my 2 weeks notice and I'm going to get out of there. And I got out of there and I went about my life with that. So at this point, having had that experience, I was already kind of aware of what I wanted to not experience. And like, if I had any inklings of that sort of shit, I knew that, hey, I'm gonna just let you know straight up, I don't have a problem just throwing up the deuces and moseying on. Because I know with a place like Wally World, there's a lot of turnover. It always seems like they're short of staff. And especially with me working at the front where it's like cashiers and all that stuff, I know you guys are not trying to deal with all that. And yeah. Now, that's all to say that for my last day working there, it was as good of a last day as there could have been. Because for my last day, I got to work in the cosmetics department, which I became very fond of. Not even just because it's like, oh, well, let me go ahead and just kind of scope out, let's see what type of cosmetics they got, see if I could go ahead and find something that I could purchase for myself. It's just being in that area, didn't have to deal with all the bullshit at the front, and I was able to just kind of be in I was in a very chill spot, right? Yeah, it could get busy, but I was able to get the customers in and out, no problem, make a little conversation, and then that's it. One of the managers, they were on some bullshit. They were like, I feel like you're not really working like you should. I was like, okay, kid, like that's strike two. I'm just gonna bump it up to strike two. Because I was like, hey, I've already heard that shit before. That's an automatic strike two. But I I enjoyed what I was able to get out of the experience because I was able to meet some cool people and I just went about my day. That's all. Now, for my last day, being there in the cosmetics area, fantastic. I ended up coming across not one, not two, not three, not four, but five trans people. And I was able to have like little conversations with each one of them, just expressing how much it warmed my heart to see them out in public, even with like this is like post election and everything, and you feel, and it's like you figure a lot of like queer and trans people specifically, they just kind of went down and went in the shutdown mode, rightfully so. Not every person was just like, okay, that's it, this is the end, I'm just gonna fall off the face of the earth and just scream into the void. Like you had some people, they're like, okay, I just know it's time to get back, it's time to get to work, or trying to get back to work. So being able to see them and just have conversation and just be able to enjoy one another's presence, it really warmed my heart. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. Because that on that day I was like, okay, maybe I'll work like a few more days. But it's like, nah, I can't top this. Like I get to work in my favorite area. I'm not getting bitched at by anybody. The customers are customering in a good way. Didn't have to worry about being short on my till. I was able to take my breaks with no problem, no muss, no fuss. I was able to get people their fragrances, which are usually behind a glass door, and we had the key for that, thank goodness. And then I got to meet some really cool trans people and just be able to just understand that, yeah, we are still out here, but we have to take care of ourselves. I understand. We can't just be parading ourselves all the time because we know there are unhealthy people out there that have unhealthy thoughts and very bad intentions. And we're trying to work on fixing that by any means necessary. So it really brought me into a great space. And yeah, I'm happy I was able to leave in a moderately good mindset. Especially with dealing with being in a shelter, and a shelter that's strictly for men, and it was just really fucking draining. There are a lot of times where I was just like, I did not want to go back, but it's like they have this whole process of how they do things, and it's like, okay, you have curfew 9, unless you're working and your schedule reflects that you're working past this time, which is fine, whatever, yada yada yada. But it's like if you don't come back in before 9, then you have to you have to sleep on the streets for 24 hours. And then they said if you do it again, then you have to be out there for 2 days. And then if you do it again, you're just kicked out. And I was like, you know what? I get it. They're trying to, like, even though it's a shelter, it's still kind of run with a business mindset of, okay, we're trying to do this, that, and the third, because they get support based off of the success of the people within the facility and the program. And like for me, I was like, look, I don't really need much out of you guys. It's just when I come back from work, also all I want is to have like a relatively decent environment that I can relax in and rest, and just a place where I can wash my body, lay my head down, get a little bit of food. That's it. Other than that, I'm going to be at work most of the time. And if I'm not working, I'm not going to be here because I don't want to be around all these people. I don't want to be around all these men. And it's like a lot of them, they're going through drug addictions and all this other stuff. Some people, they don't really care about doing anything but just hopping around shelter to shelter. That's them. That's their life. But for me, I'm like, look, I'm trying to get back on the right track. I'm grateful for things like shelters because, granted, it may not be the best thing, but it is something there so you don't have to be out in the elements all the time because nobody wants to deal with that. Some people, they willingly choose that because that is the life that they want to live. They're built different. I understand that. I don't want to have to be that type of person, and I don't want to. I don't want to wish that on anybody. We're trying to get into a space where everybody has housing, amongst other things, without question. It shouldn't be a luxury. It should just be a fucking basic need. It's a basic necessity. So I'm glad that I was able to have a place to kind of fall into and give me a chance to do what I had to do so I could go forward and keep moving forward. Because I mean, from October till about, like, for the whole month of October, I was just not mentally well. Like, for those that are, they saw my 33 post and everything, like, yeah, I was in that state where I did not want to be here anymore. And I mean, I've had instances like that in the past, but like this one was really bad where it's just like I was just walking around like, man, like what if I just got shot or something? Like, I should have put up a trigger warning, but like, what if I just got taken out? Like, or what if this happened? Blah, blah, blah. Just idealizing really bad. And I'm grateful that I was able to get in contact with people and just be able to recenter myself into a place of gratitude and not just allow that to be the end, right? Because I mean, it's not even like, oh, I still got work to do, or there's so many people and it's selfish. It's just, it doesn't have to be that way. Now I know that this is not going to go away. That's one of the things I do need to start addressing when I really get kind of situated here in good old Nashville and whatnot, is getting a therapist. And I mean, one of my friends said that I may need to get on meds. I hope I don't need to, but that's just the reality that I face. And I mean, there's no shame in having to take meds. I try not to think too much about the cases that I've seen with a lot of people where it's like they did the meds, they did it for as long as they could. They had to go bounce around, they had to play Russian roulette with meds. They just ended up saying, screw this. And then it's like they just said, you know what, I'd rather just raw dog it with no meds. And I'm like, I try not to I try not to let that into my energy. as a thing that I might go through, because everybody's experience is going to be different. But I rather not have to face that reality. If I can do work to combat that and prevent that reality, then I want to do that. Same with like the possibility of me needing to do blood pressure medication or what have you, because that runs in my family. Hypertension, high blood pressure, that's on my father's side. I mean, I'm in my early 30s. And this is like the prime time to really start hammering down health and whatnot. Shout out to some of my oldies. You know who you are. I'm not trying to put you on blast, but yeah. So I just I don't want to allow myself to get that deep. And I think that's why that was one of the things that really encouraged me to want to make the move back to Nashville is being around people that can help me in the sense of like, Sergi, I see that this is how you are. Do you want to talk about it? Do you need to go to somebody? Whatever, right? Not saying that I couldn't have had that in Arizona, but it would have taken a lot more work because I don't really have that sort of connection here or in Arizona. So yeah, it's just I feel like this was the better judgment. I think this is a good judgment call for me coming back here to a place of familiarity, to a place where I know I have community, and just I guess just more happiness. I mean, it's Tennessee, so you can only be so happy, right? As a queer, transgender, diverse person, especially if you're a Black, Indigenous person of color, what have you. Anyways, I digress. I another gripe that I really had with Arizona, for the life of me, everybody and their mama loves to fucking stare into your soul. Like I mean, I caught this on a regular basis, and I was like, okay, I understand if you're just paranoid or whatever, or if you genuinely are just trying to see, like if I'm walking, I'm in pedestrian mode and you're in a car and you're trying to make sure I'm not about to jump in front of your car or something. I might be a little crazy, but I'm not that fucking crazy. Or am I? I don't know. I digress. But just the amount of times that I'm going about my black ass business and I catch people, usually in my peripheral, just staring at me. And I'm just like, what is the deal? What is going on? It's like I'm not rocking anything extravagant. It's like most of the time I was just boy modding. Because I was just like, I don't feel like wearing my cutesy stuff. I just didn't. So it's just like is this just you're witnessing a black person that is mask presenting? You're witnessing me, right? And it's like, oh, look at this black person. I need to keep my eye on them. Like, of course, like I said, this is going back to being the swing state. You got a lot of conservatives, but it's like you also have a lot of people that are, because I mean, we're like right there at the border. You have a lot of people that are also of Hispanic or Latina descent, and it didn't matter. It just non-black in general, just all eyes on me, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't know what I've done to create such an environment of I need to be watching you, and it's like I'll stare at a lot of these people. I'm like, is there an issue or what? And they'll just go about their fucking day, and I'm like, okay, cool. It got really irritating. It got really fucking irritating. I'm just like, bro, I swear to you, just mind your fucking business, dude. Mind your fucking business. Because I'm already in a very, very, very volatile mental state. And it's like, it's getting to that point where I'm like, I'm getting to a very dangerous state. So, I mean, I imagine like being back here in Nashville, it's not going to be any better. But it could be. I try to stay positive, right? Try to have some optimism. Try to be grateful. But man, that was not good. Especially for me, being a little anxious and paranoid and just people constantly watching me. I'm like, bruh, are you gonna do something me do to? Are you gonna do something to me? Let me know, because if I gotta go ahead and I gotta fight you, fine. So fucking be it. Don't just be over here trying to like survey me on some goddamn like stakeout shit. Like, yeah, they're going there. They go here every Tuesday at 5 a.m. And I'm just like, bitch, leave me the fuck alone. So yeah, that was my time in Arizona. I kind of touched on why I'm back in Tennessee. There are some goals that I do have, and it kind of ties into another thing I did want to talk about, which is I managed to get in contact with somebody through this lovely little app called Lex. It is a queer app that you can find in your store of choice. I think they have it on the Apple Store. I don't know. I don't have an iPhone. I never intend to have an iPhone, so don't ask me about that. Um, but this there is a individual that I did want to shout out. Their name is River. They use they them pronouns predominantly, but they are from New Mexico, and I came across them on Lex because they went ahead and they made a post, just kind of like a hey, shout out to all the queers that are in the area. I have some spare supplies in terms of like for gender affirming care, HRT, and if you are in need of that, just get in contact with me. And me being me and knowing that one of the goals that I want to start working towards, especially now with what they're trying to work on as far as that very lovely project for next year, I was like, okay, well, if I'm about to have to deal with like several years of hell, I might as well try and have the best few years of hell possible. So yeah, I went ahead and I reached out to them. I said, "Hey, my name is Sergi. Are these still available? I would love to go ahead and inquire about these extra supplies." So had a conversation. They went ahead. They shipped it out. I was able to get it with no issue, especially with being at like a shelter. Like, thank God they weren't gonna try and like open the package and do all that checking shit and be like, "Well, why you got this?" Because then I would have. I mean, somebody would have had to die, and I would not even be here in Tennessee to talk to you. Yeah, I would have. I probably would have been executed because I've been hearing some things about the police in Arizona, specifically Mesa. So yeah, um, thank you so much, River. I did say I was going to shout you out, and I meant that. Not even just because it's like, hey, yeah, you gave me free stuff, but just making conversation with me and just being ever so helpful. I look forward to continuing this budding relationship and just knowing that I have a cool friend, confidant in New Mexico. So if I ever decide to go out that way, or if you're ever coming this way, then just reaching out, be like, yo, I'm here. I'm in your city. I'm in your state. What I do, baby? And yeah, so I'm just, I'm really glad to have somebody like that that is helping me get off the ground with this because I'm extremely serious about getting into my transition and just by any means necessary making this happen. My lovely Sibi Amani has been helping me for the last several years, and it's like now more than ever, they're in my corner, ready to help me with whatever. And of course, all of their partners, all of their friends here in Nashville that can point me in the right direction, show me where I got to go ahead and get what I need to get. One of the biggest things that is on my docket, of course, is minting and officializing my name change. And I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I haven't done anything yet with that aside from research to see, okay, how much is it going to be? How stingy are they with the whole process? Blase, blase. But that's gonna happen. As far as the gender marker, I mean, I might just have to take an L on that. I mean, I am in Tennessee, so woof. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I I don't know how I feel totally aside from just excited, but just knowing this is gonna start happening and I'm not looking to turn back. I don't give a fuck what any crusty, dusty ass person that has no concept of what trans people really are all about has to say about that. They can wave all these little bills and talk about how they're going to go ahead and erase trans people from public acknowledgement. That's fantastic. I get that you want to have your comfy, cozy little like fantasy world, but I mean, this is real life, my guy, and it's not going to change, and not willingly at that. So I hope you understand that, like what happened to Homeboy with like United Health and all that stuff, it can happen to a lot more people. Like, please understand the lengths that some people are willing to go to protect that which is very near and dear to them. And in this case, we're talking about people that are protecting their truth and their life and their future. And we don't care about if that makes you uncomfortable. That's a you problem that you need to start addressing with your therapist and mainly yourself. But, anyways, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm super excited. I'm just over the moon. I'll try and keep you guys posted. I haven't taken any injections yet. There are some other things that I want to go ahead and do before I really start getting into that. So yeah, um, waifu surgery is starting to load up, I guess. Yeah. Um, this isn't going to be like an hour long episode. I was thinking it was going to be an hour long episode, but honestly, I don't think I have the chops for that right now. I just want to relax and embrace people that I love and whatnot, and just kind of take it easy for a bit. Like, this has been a year, and plus, I'm gonna save more of the yapping for the final episode. So, one of the things I did want to talk about briefly was just the content, as far as my content and what I want to kind of do with that. I did some minor tweaking and just very I felt like quality of life changes to the look of the blog. It wasn't like any changes to color. It's like mainly the font, the layout. So if you've had a chance to kind of look at it, and if you've been around and it looks different, yes, it is different. I did change some things around. If it's just now occurring to you, then I hope it's to your liking. Uh, which I did want to touch on at the very end of this, which I'll give it like probably like 4 more minutes or so. But yeah, as far as like the content, I do want to continue doing my Sunday post. So I don't know what the topic for this Sunday is going to be, but I will figure that one out. As far as the podcast, I mean, the podcast is not going anywhere. It may hit some moments where it has to get turned into a hiatus state where I may not post often. It may be like once a month. Eventually, I do want to turn it into a once a month thing, and it's just like, hey, this is how this month went. That way, I'm not overdoing the updates and the frequencies. I also, if anybody wants to test it, I also went ahead and I gave an update to if you decide to unsubscribe from my email updates. So there's actually a cute little new page for that. So if you want to test that out, by all means, go ahead. Uh, I welcome you back with open arms if you decide to resubscribe, and if not, I still love you. Yeah, I still love you. I'll still send you the links when I make updates. Okay. So yeah, um, but I do eventually want to make the podcast a once a month sort of thing. That way, I can just kind of pack in more content to talk about and just be like, hey, this is what I did this month. Blase, blase, woo woo woo, yada yada yada. And unless there's like something special happening that month, but at the same time, I could just pack that in at the end of the month. that's fine. It's whatever. And we'll just focus more on the actual Sunday posts and just writing because I want to focus more on my writing anyways. So that'll give me a chance to really just kind of be more in tune with that, if that makes sense. But yeah, I actually I'll just go ahead and ask it right now. If there are some suggestions that you guys have, feel free to go ahead and comment that or just hit me up in my DMs. You already know, just hit me in my DMs or just comment on the blog post. Be like, hey, Sergi, you could actually go ahead and, or would you add this to the blog or this to the podcast, etc., etc. And I'll go ahead and I'll look at them. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna look at them and be like, you know what, that's actually a good idea, or I'll see how that works for me, and I'll try. I'm definitely gonna try it. And if I'm struggling with it, I might inquire with you, the person that has suggested this, and be like, so it's not clicking for me like this. Can you help me with that? And we'll just go from there. Right? Okay. Cool, cool, cool. I want to take a moment to, since, I mean, I don't care that it was Thanksgiving recently, but I do want to give thanks. I want to show some gratitude. My journey has not been the most stupendous or stellar or just extravagant, but it has been mine. It has been mine and mine only. And I am just grateful for a lot of the people that I've been able to make friends, acquaintances, confidants with, uh, flirting buddies, what have you. Yeah, just for all the people that have been there and have had to witness me and I have witnessed them. I just thank you in every facet of how I can. And I think I want to give thanks to myself because one of the biggest things that really stood out with me as far as just how I know I'm really starting to make some sort of forward progress is just like the self control that I'm starting to show with a lot of things, and I'm really starting to kind of reel it back in with certain things because there were, I guess, a great example. And I know I need to get like a photo, a side by side photo, because that's what people do, right? But so when I was back in Maryland and I was doing like co-living and stuff, one of the things that I really started to work on was doing yoga, and as a result of that, it started to help me change my perspective on things as well as like really start learning how to have some discipline. And as such, I started to really change like when it came to eating and what I consumed and drinking and all that stuff. And I ended up going from, let's see, back in 2023, I was in the neighborhood of about 300 pounds. And I'll have to weigh myself again, but about 2 3 weeks ago, I hopped on a scale and I was like just under 220, and that was just from doing yoga, from not even really dieting. Like I still had my moments where I would just grub on junk food, but just portion control, when I ate, how much I ate, and then just drinking a lot more water and doing a lot of walking. Like my word, I wish my legs reflected better the amount of walking that I did, more so than my feet. But that's just the next step, me getting into the gym and whatnot. And yeah, I mean that was the physical, but then it started to really work on the mental and just building the spiritual as well. So I'm grateful for all of that. And it's going to be stuff like that that's going to help me start making better, or at least putting me in a space to make better decisions. And with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'm going to end this puppy. I feel like there are some other things I wanted to talk about, but I don't care. I touched on the things I wanted to, and I will have more opportunities, hopefully, to do so. And for all you lovelies that took the time out to listen to this puppy, I love you so much. I give you all the hugs and kisses and booty rubs and head pats and all the other stuff. And I owe some people some food. I said I was gonna make some cheesecakes for people, so get at me if you're in the area. Okay. And with that, I ask that you stay caked up and stay healed up. Bye bye.